to Chicago, I watched my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Street TV show.
Hi, I'm Genesis Harper. And when I go to Chicago, I like to watch my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Streets TV show. And you should too.
We've seen nothing. I said.
Hello, I'm Sharon Harper, host of Taking It to the Streets TV show, and I want to thank you for tuning in. I have some issues that I want to share with you guys, and please, after listening to what I'm going to share with you, keep in mind, growing up, my mother always taught us to do the best that we can do, regardless of the situation, regardless of what type of job we had. Always treat people the way you want to be treated. And I stuck to that. Truly, I stuck to that throughout my careers. I always kept in mind, treat people the way you want to be treated, because sometimes we can be harsh depending on the position that we, may have at the time. But it just stuck with me. I want to share something with you because I went to see my granddaughter, and I haven't seen her, I think it was right before the pandemic hit, I believe. Anyway, I couldn't afford the airline ticket, which is all right, at that point. And plus, I didn't want to get on no plane. I really didn't. And so the next time I go see her, hopefully they will be finished building the international airport down in Florida. And see, when you have a different airport or international, you have different airlines that are competing a lot. So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get a cheap ticket. When I say a cheap ticket, an inexpensive ticket that's not costing over $1,000. So anyway, I decided to take Greyhound bus. Now, I've ridden on Greyhound bus before, but it was many, many, many years ago. So I decided to take Greyhound bus this time. It's a long ride, and you do have to prepare, prepare yourself. Just bring you, something to eat. Always fix you a sandwich or whatever the case may be. And bring your music if you can, your iPod or whatever. But anyway, let me get straight to the point. It was the most horrible trip that I have had in my life. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, I found out later I was asking questions, and I was told that they are looking for drivers. I don't know. Really don't care, because you don't have to be a driver of this particular company. You can be a driver on a regular bus line or whatever, but still, I believe in treating people the way they should be treated. Straight to the point. Left Chicago, and the bathroom in the back was working. Now, I seen this lady come out of the bathroom, and she slammed the door real hard. And in my mind, I came to the conclusion, because I don't know nothing about no locks on no bathroom doors on the bus. But I came to the conclusion when a couple of men got up who had to use the bathroom, couldn't open the door. So I assumed maybe when she slammed it, because I thought that was strange to slam it as hard as she did, she may have triggered a lock some kind of way. But anyway, we could not use the bathroom. And what really pissed me off was the men said to the bus driver, we need to use the washroom and we can't open the door. So the bus driver response was, "So what do you expect for me to do?" And I said, "Oh, no, he did not. He was the type of person I would want to spank that behind, you know." But that was just me. I'm just saying. I said, all he had to do, in my mind, if it was me, I would have pulled the bus over along the side of the road, got up, came to the back to see what was wrong, okay? So he didn't do that. So it was a long ride before we got to the next station. And I couldn't believe that. I said, you know, why did he say that? He could have attempted to see if he could open it. Because I assume if this girl who used it automatically, mistakenly caused the lock to come on from the way she slammed it, I would think he would have a key, but that's just me. So we riding on down the road, and people might have thought I was crazy because I was laughing to myself. I said, I cannot believe this day and age. And you had a lot of, you know, people on the bus who were not young people, you know, and including me. And I said to myself, if push come to shove, I will wet this floor up. That's in my mind. And I'm just saying that because when we got to the next station stop, it was in another city. Okay, so that was a long ride, but I was just laughing. I guess they probably thought I was crazy because it was really funny to me. I'm saying in this day and age, somebody would say something like that. You didn't even make an attempt. And see, when you do stuff like that, nothing good is going to come your way. Trust me on that. But anyway, so we moseying on down the road till we got to the next stop. And to use it, but no attempt was even made still. No attempt, because I thought that was strange. No attempt. The driver didn't make any attempt. I don't recall seeing anyone coming on the bus going to the back. And at the point where someone eventually did get on the bus to come to the back, they still couldn't do anything. And I'm saying, what is going on? And that was hours later. So we were able to get off at one of the stops that's, you know, stops at a big old gas station, and they have some eateries inside. And we were able to use the bathroom, but I couldn't believe that. I could not believe that. And another thing I'm going to say about Greyhound, it was horrible. Every stop along the way. When I say every stop, I'm talking about the bus stop where they stop and let people off and other people get on. It was horrible. I couldn't believe it. I said, what is wrong? What's going on? Is it something I missed out on or what? And I say that because the washroom was horrible. In one location, no toilet paper. And trust me, if you're traveling, get you some toilet paper or even paper towels, because I could not believe none of the stalls had toilet paper. And so, you know, of course, there were people asking, did anybody have any toilet paper? So, of course, I shared mine because I don't leave home without it. And I couldn't believe this. I'm saying usually places have signs on the door to let you know the next time the maintenance people are supposed to, you know, come and clean up. No maintenance people, you know, apparently didn't come and clean up there. But same thing when we went to the next stop. And like I said, the route that I took going down to Florida, all of the stops, it was the same thing. And I said, something is wrong. And not only that, you know, you're used to 2 or 3 people working the counter at the stops. Most of them only had one person, because you had long lines, people trying to get information. It was only one person working the counter. And what was so interesting to me, that same person working the counter was also the person that would call and, you know, let you know or say on the loudspeaker if you're going to so-and-so boarding at gate 8 or 5. And this same person came from behind the counter and went to, I guess, unlock the little rope thing that they had to keep you from going through. And I said, now that's really strange in my mind. And this happened at most of the stops. Now, one stop that I did, stop I noticed, which was a nice stop because it had an eatery, it had a little small grill inside, and they had this security fella. Now, the security apparently was employed by Greyhound, I'm assuming. But he did a fantastic job because people, you know how you pre-board, sometimes you get in line ahead of time? Hey, you couldn't do that with him, and he was telling people, no, do not come up here yet. We will announce when it's time for you to come up there. And it was funny to me because he was strict with what he was saying. And the people who were standing in line went and sat down, you know. And I thought that was interesting. And this particular stop, the bathroom was all right. There was some toilet paper in this particular stop. But the rest of them, even the other ones still after that particular stop, it was pitiful. It was horrible, horrible. And I later found out from talking to different people, a couple of people, I was just asking questions, what is going on? What is going on here? And then some of the locations, the change machine wasn't working and people was trying to get water, a sandwich or something, and they couldn't because you needed change. So everybody was asking everybody else, do you have any change, you know? So, but I was talking to a couple of people, and I was informed, say, well, you know Greyhound was sold. I said, really? No, I didn't know this, you know, because usually companies like that, you would hear about it on television, I would assume, and maybe it had been announced, but I didn't hear it. But the person said, yeah, to their understanding, they were sold a year ago or something. And I said, oh, okay, so they done started cutbacks already because each stop had one, and then I think it was one stop, they did have two people working. I said, they done already started cutbacks at some of the locations. But to my understanding, I think some company bought Amtrak and Greyhound. Amtrak and Greyhound was sold. So, and in the ride, let me just, you know, it was a long ride because I didn't get to Florida until the following day, and it was like in the evening time, that part of Florida that I was going to. So I'm saying, so they done already started cutbacks, I'm thinking, because of what I had experienced, which I hadn't experienced before, because I had taken Greyhounds some years ago before that, okay, because I wanted to sit back, relax, and enjoy the view. And, but I was disappointed with this. A lot of things that they didn't do. For example, you can pay a few dollars more and get priority boarding. Okay, that means you would board before the regular passengers. None of the locations called out priority boarding. And the funny thing about that, they have nerve enough to have on the ticket, there's no refund given for priority boarding. So my question is, whose fault is that? I mean, I can't get a refund because the people working there did not make the announcement for priority boarding? I don't think that's right. That's not right at all. And it's going to be interesting because I am going to contact the Greyhound person, the chairman, president, or whoever you want to call, because there have been some stuff showing who have bought the Greyhound and Amtrak together. And so I think they have sold prior, buses, beforehand, but it wasn't no announcement that I heard, because I'm sure I would have remembered that, knowing that I had taken Greyhound before. But it's interesting when you do research and look, you get different information. So I could be wrong, but it seemed like to me it might have been a company, I want to say a Russian company. I could be wrong, but I'm still doing my research. I don't have access to information like I used to have when I was working, which it wouldn't have been no problem. And but it was just interesting. It was the bus trip from hell. I'm saying that, yes, it was. And coming back, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad coming back. But we got to do better than what we're doing, customer service. And in my mind, I used to be a mystery shopper, where you would go to stores. I would even do mystery shop in the theaters, where I would go and I end up doing the paperwork, a report on the condition of the places. Was it clean? How was customer service? Did the customer service person say thank you for shopping or whatever? Because it was different stores that I went to. And even with the theater, had to check the tickets to make sure people were given the tickets to the show, to the movie that they were attending, and different things like that. But the powers to be that's over Greyhound, if they really care about customer service, about the passengers, maybe they should do or select some people to do some mystery shop on their buses. I mean, you would have to pay them, of course, a salary for that, where they could ride the bus, go to the next stop, but just do a report on what they experience and stuff. Now, I have to give them credit. On the bus lines, they do have a sticker that they got pasted above near the windows where you can text them. And I'm not really a good texter, and I had too much to say. I'm sure I wouldn't have been able to text everything I wanted to say, but they want to know, I guess, how was the bus driver and stuff like that, where you can text information. See, I believe in putting stuff in writing, okay? I want to list everything that transpired, what I may have said to the person, and how they responded, back. And to my understanding, Germany owns Greyhound. So that was interesting, when because I've gotten two different versions, about that, who owns Greyhound. But still, customer service was pitiful, and you got to treat people the way you want to be treated. But what really upset me, when the bus driver could have pulled over to the side and came back to see if he could have, unlocked that door, because at that point I would have kicked that door in, but that's just me. I'm just saying, but knowing, I'll, just wait till we stop. That's what I did, to use the bathroom. But I'm so sorry about that, because, like I said, I was always taught to treat people the way I want to be treated. And customer service is the key. Customer service is the key. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And sometimes people approaching customer service can be very rude as well. So, you don't get anywhere when you being disrespectful or rude to that customer service rep. But we got to do better than what we are doing, okay? We got to do better than what we are doing. And Greyhound, you got to do better than what you're doing so far, because it was the most horrible experience I have. And I'm an old, I shouldn't say it, but I'm a senior. And I've never experienced that before. I've never, and I took Greyhound before, and I've never experienced that. So I would hate to say, just because you bought the company, you're cutting back already on things that matter. Or I don't know, maybe your employees didn't want to go to work. I don't know. But you got to do better than what you're doing. And now off Greyhound, to anyone that's listening to me, if you're in the customer service field, always do the best that you can do, because you never know. That person you may be helping or ringing up or whatever type of job you may be in the customer service field, you never know when you may have to come across that person. And people remember people who are very disrespectful to them. They do remember them. So you never know. You may have to go to that individual for something, okay? And not knowing this same individual that you coming to for something was somebody you treated real bad before, okay? Because karma has a way of working itself around you, trust me on that. But just do what you can do. Be the best that you can do. If you can help someone, help them. Don't turn them away, even if it's not your job and you know what to tell them, but you're in a hurry to go to lunch or whatever the case may be. We have to do better than what we're doing, okay? So I wanted to share that with you. And hopefully, things will get better at Greyhound, because, it was horrible. It was pitiful. And just imagine, you got to use the bathroom and you couldn't even get in the bathroom, And the next stop was a long way away. So, because a lot of the bus stops are in different towns, different cities. So, I had to share that with you because I wouldn't want you to go through what I experienced, and at one point I wanted to take over the bus. Seriously, I wanted to, just take over the bus and just drive. Maybe I'll do a script on that, write a script about that, the takeover of the bus. Seriously, that's how bad it was to me. But I'm glad I didn't, because laws are different in different states, and Lord knows I wouldn't make it if I had to go to jail. I really wouldn't. So, even if you're a Chicago bus driver or you work in Amtrak or whatever, be kind to the people, your passengers, and that works both ways. The passengers can be ruly, and try not to be ruly. Be kind to the people, the employees working on Amtrak, as well as Chicago transit authorities. But sometimes I know you may have to do certain things, because we do have some people who are unruly on the bus lines, CTA and maybe Amtrak as well. So, but everyone had a hard day or has a hard day, with other things that could be going on in their life, But we got to do better than what we are doing. We can do better. We can do better, even if it goes back to opening the door. You may see a senior coming having trouble. Open the door for them. And I said before, even if you have a senior that may be living in the same building you're living in, or you're living on the same floor, or what floor they may live in, when you cook in, especially the holiday season, just fix them a plate and just take it to them, and let them know, you was taking a plate, thinking about them and stuff. Just make that attempt. It don't matter in my mind whether or not they eat your food, but the goal is to hope that they eat the food, but just make the attempt to offer, And another thing, do the same with our homeless people. We still got homeless people out there under viaducts, certain viaducts, Fix them a plate. You can do it. I mean, a lot of times you have excess food left over. Fix them a plate. And just in your driving down certain streets, you may see some people under a viaduct or just maybe on the street that appears as though, they may be homeless. Just offer them something. If you got a blanket or, people do their spring cleaning too in the wintertime, And this is just my suggestion. A lot of times we donate stuff because I used to donate to various places. But driving around, I began to see people at viaducts, living under viaducts. And so I started carrying, stuff that I wanted to give to places like Salvation Army. I just carried it in my trunk. And so when I pass certain viaducts and I see people, I would give these clothes or blankets to those people. And because there's still people living out there. Everybody has not been helped. And I heard that some people don't want to be helped, which I find it hard to believe, but there again, I couldn't, I know I couldn't make it, especially in the wintertime, even in summertime, I wouldn't want to be out there, so I would want somebody to help me if I was homeless, But it's just so much we can do to help people, because the saying everyone is a paycheck from being homeless, and that's true, that is true. And whether or not people might admit it, but a lot of people are a paycheck from being homeless. So we got to help one another. This, people who are right here in the city living that we know or we see, we got to help our homeless people as well. And if you have any shoes or jackets or pants or anything like that, that you tired of because you want to buy something new, just hold on to them until you come across these people. You can carry them in your trunk or go look for them, or even to the church, because a lot of the churches also help people with clothes too as well. So, but that's just my suggestion. I wanted to, talk about that again because we have to do better than what we are doing to help one another. And when it comes time to vote, we got to get out, register to vote, first of all. And then when the time comes, get out there and vote, okay? You have a position. If you don't like a particular candidate or whatever, so be it. You got other candidates, but make sure you vote. It's important. We need to stop complaining about certain things. And what gets me, don't be too quick to be listening to some of what some people are saying about other candidates and stuff like that. And once you vote to put a person in office, then it's your responsibility to stay abreast of what that particular candidate is doing for you or for the community. Same thing applies to the aldermen. Think about it. I'm telling my young folks, hey, think about running for some of those positions. If you believe you can do things better or whatever the case may be, run for some of these positions that are out there because you can make a difference. And I don't know, we just have to, stop talking and start acting on a lot of the issues that we still have, especially these potholes out there. But there's no reason to me for those potholes in some places, Another thing I want to say, and I don't care if you like it or not, we need to stop, I call it a form of bullying. Okay, when I was growing up in school, I was bullied all throughout my life, even in high school, you know, I was bullied. But there's different forms of bullying, and one of them is driving, okay? Lakeshore Drive, I hate Lakeshore Drive, I'm sorry. If I could and had the authority, I'd put a red light camera up all down the street on Lakeshore Drive. Right lane normally is a slow lane, and they got your speed limit, you know, 30 or whatever the case may be. Why is it that people have to ride almost up on your bumper because you are not speeding? I always say go over, get in the next lane. You know, you got a couple more lanes, just move over if I'm driving too slow for you. But the point that really gets to me is you're so close. So if I had to stop all of a sudden, you would ram right into my back. That's how close. And I don't like that. You need to stop doing that. Okay, seriously, Lakeshore Drive is the pits. You would think you on Dan Rand, you know, but we got to slow down and stop being, you know, stop creating hatred, because you do that when you're doing that to people. I don't know if you're trying to intimidate them for whatever reason because you don't know them, you know, but just move over to the next lane. Move over to the next lane because it makes no sense. And we wonder why we having all these accidents and stuff. You know, that's because people are driving too fast, okay? And when you're driving too fast, you're more prone to hitting other people, especially people who are on the bikes, riding down the lanes where they supposed to be, you know, riding. You know, so we got to do better than that. We got to, before it's too late. So that's just my opinion. I just wanted to share that with you. And, you know, we're in the holiday season. About time the show is aired, it's going to be after the new year. I hope everybody makes some reservations about New Year's, you know, I say a reservation, but New Year's resolution, and about what you want to see change in your life. What would you like to do better, you know? But hopefully some of my young folks gonna have on their resolution, think about running for some of these positions, whether it's down in Springfield or either down in City Hall or whatever the case may be, because you can make the change. You are the future, you can make the change, okay? And do that, okay? I'm gonna take my neighbor a plate of food, you know, see if they want something to eat. Anything, it could be something small, but the simplest things can make a big difference, you know, especially in homeless people's lives, you know. Instead of taking my clothes, giving it to my neighbor or my sister, I'm gonna carry it around in my trunk, so if I see some homeless people or a homeless person on the viaduct or wherever the case, I will give or offer them the clothing, okay? So I just want to share my little horrible story with you, and I'm sorry I had to do it, but before I close, this is something else I want to mention. Because I know a lot of people who have Amazon. A lot of people order from Amazon. Some people have Amazon accounts. And the issue that I have, and I'm saying this because as big as Amazon is, there should be a location here in the city of Chicago where if you have issues or problems with your account, you ought to be able to go into a location and talk to an employee of Amazon. And I'm just saying this because if you're locked out of your account or something happens, and at this point, when you applied for your Amazon, you didn't have to give them no copy of your government ID or driver's license or anything like that. So at this point, why should you be uploading your information? They hacking. I mean, you know, you may hear about scams and all that stuff, but you have to be careful uploading stuff. And the reason why I'm saying I'm not paranoid or anything, and I'm not a computer whiz, a genius. The only thing I be doing is writing my stories, telling my stories. So I use Microsoft Word. Here lately, I've been getting emails indicating a lot of activity on my Microsoft account. And when I look at the emails, they give the IP, because you know every computer person have an IP address. And it's strange because my IP address is always pointing to Russia. Now, I don't know nobody in Russia. I really don't. So why am I getting this all the time? Now, Microsoft is the company, you know, like when you're writing and stuff like that. A lot of people use the Microsoft Word and stuff like that. But anyway, another thing I had noticed, I'm saying, so what's going on with Microsoft? I don't know, but I don't know nobody in Russia, never been to Russia. But so you really have to pay attention and make sure if you're on the internet and stuff like that, you got a good security program and stuff. But, you know, every now and then you may hear something about stuff like that, but I'm just, you know, sharing that with you because I just find it strange. You know, I'm just writing a book. I'm writing several books. I'm writing my memoir. And just based on my experience riding Greyhound, shoot, I might write a little book about that, you know, make it funny like, but who's to say so? But just be careful, and like I said, Amazon should have a location here. I know they were, I don't know if it's still going on, but I know at one point if you had packages you wanted to send back to Amazon, you could take it to Whole Foods and they would ship it back for you. I don't know if they're still doing that, but I don't think you should be uploading your license to them in order for you to get your account unlocked. That's just my opinion. That's too much information to be sending. Let me go to a location where I can show who I am to you without uploading my information. But that's just me. I'm just saying. You know, everybody's hacking now. Well, I shouldn't say everybody, but I mean everybody is getting splishing and hacking and all that stuff. And, you know, to upload your identity, that's really deep as far as I'm concerned, especially when you always hear about different things going on with people getting hacked and splishing and scamming. So that's just my opinion on that. So I said, well, we didn't have to show no ID when we opened up the account, so you know, but I can understand, don't get me wrong, I can understand, you know, because people do be skimming and scamming out there, and, but we have to be careful with our identities, because you never know, so many other people want to take over your identity and stuff like that, among other things, so just be careful out there. But we got to stand up and voice our concerns on issues, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to contact your people, whether it's your state's attorney's office or whoever the case may be. But we got to take a stand on some things that matter, and especially your identity. Because, you know, once you get that stolen, it's kind of difficult and hard to get it back, okay? So that's just my concerns and opinions to you. Because like I said, I don't know anybody in Russia, so why is someone, you know, messing with my Microsoft account? I'm just wondering, you know, because all I'm doing is writing. So be concerned and report things like that, because we don't know what the intentions are, you know, and those particular countries are not our friends. as far as I'm concerned. So I just wanted to share that with you. And just pay attention, stay focused, be aware of your environment at all times, okay? And until then, everyone, enjoy yourself and, think about things that you can do better than what you have done or are doing at this point. So until next time, take care. And tell your grandparents, if you still have grandparents living, let them know you love them. Same thing with your mother and father. Let them know that you love them because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. So until then, take care.
Hi, my name is Genesis Harper, and when I go to Chicago, I watch my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Street TV show.
Hi, I'm Genesis Harper. And when I go to Chicago, I like to watch my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Streets TV show. And you should too.
We've seen nothing.